there. I want to welcome Sarah and Matt from Map Architects. We're going to talk a little bit about architecture and sustainability this afternoon. So, Sarah, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sarah Beyer, Director of Sustainability and Associate Principal at Magnuson Architecture and Planning. We build new construction and retrofit projects in New York City, and we are seeing a large increase in adopting passive house strategies in our work.
Nice. Okay. So you mostly do high-rise buildings or one family house projects. What do you do most of the time?
Right. We build multifamily affordable housing. So it could be anywhere from 6 to 14. Some of our projects are now taller than that number of stories. So they're kind of mid-rise to high-rise buildings in the greater New York City area.
Okay. And part of the goals of the firm that you work in are sustainability, right? So how do you integrate sustainability? What are the main goals that you usually present to the client or present in your design development? Can you tell us a bit more about the sustainability and integration with these family buildings? Well, house, multi-rise family buildings.
Right, so our typology is encouraged with incentives and mandatory requirements to incorporate sustainability measures. So there is already a higher threshold that we need to meet in affordable housing to incorporate those sustainability goals, and it includes everything from your EUI to the types of plantings in your landscaping, being native, for example. So we already have a good baseline to work with. And also because our clients usually are holding on to their buildings for a longer period of time than some market rate projects might, they really value the operational energy performance of of passive house technologies. And we are also really coming to understand the health benefits as well of really documenting true air changes in our buildings with supply, ventilation, and incorporating ERVs. So we're seeing, actually not sharing as much air between apartments is a beneficial thing with regards to, pathogen mitigation. So they are also interested in passive house technologies a lot more now because of health concerns. So yes, there are minimum already more sustainable because of our requirements and because they care about the operations of the building a little bit more. And then they're seeing the health benefits from there. And yeah.
Absolutely. And how do you see the integration between building properly building a project and social values, social justice, and besides sustainability and health, these other values that are more intangible, like equality?
Yeah, so I think we realize now what truly constitutes a healthy building, and more people understand this, and therefore it is irresponsible to not build that way. And it's public knowledge in a sense in our industry, especially with regards to healthy air and air changes and really supplying fresh air to your buildings. So it's when we invest in our multifamily infrastructure for affordable housing, we will reap those benefits as a society. Just if we lift all boats to lead happier and healthier lives, it will benefit everybody.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah. And tell us how challenging, because in the architecture industry, sometimes many other architects think it's so challenging to introduce these concepts, passive house concepts and sustainability concepts in general into a building, or it can make it way more expensive, so it's not worth it to do the initial investment. So what do you think about that?
Hmm. Well, I think when someone indicates that the hard costs up front are too expensive, they're not really looking at the project as a whole over its entire life cycle. There are lots of value adds to the passive house technology that are not maybe essentially captured at, within the closing value when it goes into construction. So I think thinking holistically about the project is key, and then also balancing trade-offs. So if you improve your envelope, you can make your mechanical systems smaller. I think that sort of value should be captured. And it's hard to quantify health benefits, but as I was saying, before, health benefits improve our society as a whole, across all social groups. So that's something that will come back to you as a developer in some way or another. Yeah, I think there's more to say about that. It's really the passive house technologies are, because there have been pioneers that have really been working on this for a while, the technologies have gotten a lot more attainable, cost effective, more available in the market. I've seen in just the past 5 years, the availability of different mechanical units and passive house level performance windows just increase exponentially, and even the conversation among all product manufacturers is changing pretty quickly, because we keep talking and keep collaborating and keep building this way, and it'll come, the prices should normalize for it.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Last 5 years, maybe last 10 years, all this technology and the awareness of the impact that architecture and the industry has on the environment has made things shift and change. And these changes have been uh, pushed and created initially by firms like yours, right? That you, as you just said, you're pioneers in this. Matt, would you
Try
like
to
to?
be.
Matt, would you like to? So, hi, I want to introduce you to Matt from Map Architects. Matt, could you tell us about a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. I'm the Director of Communications at Magnuson Architecture and Planning. We're a purpose-driven architecture firm. We focus on housing and community development, and we specialize in affordable, supportive senior housing, mixed income housing. Many of our clients are nonprofit, mission-driven organizations, and we see it as part of our goal when we're producing housing to produce something of the quality that really kind of supports that mission. We think if you're not building high quality buildings for mission-driven work, then you're really undercutting that goal. You can't improve people's lives if you're not producing something that's really high quality and beautiful. And it helps to tell or to convey to the people who we're building for that they matter, and that we focus on a lot of shared views, lots of light, natural light coming into the spaces, healthy building materials and technologies to improve indoor air quality, to provide high quality outdoor spaces for people to spend time in nature. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. What was the rest of the question? Sorry.
No, that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit more on the challenges of integrating passive house strategies or sustainability strategies into affordable housing.
Well, so for a long time, affordable housing has actually been leading the way on sustainability in residential development, at least here in New York, because the funding agencies, the biggest reason I think is the funding agencies have adopted high standards for sustainability that are requirements to get money to build these buildings. Another reason, of course, is that we work with a lot of nonprofits who are mission driven, and building something that's sustainable and healthy is part of their mission in terms of helping the communities that they work with. And so in some ways, it's not harder to build sustainable and affordable. In some ways, it's easier. You know, we're finding now that because of these requirements, that our buildings, affordable buildings, are performing much better in terms of energy use intensity than many of the market rate buildings that are built to code minimums. And also because we have these sustainability requirements, the base level sustainable building that you're going to build in affordable housing, the jump up to passive house is not that big. And so, you know, it's a small incremental step. And so it's possibly not as big a sell to potential owners and developers as you would think it would be.
Absolutely. So in recent years, did you see a change in the industry? Why do you think is it driven? Will it change now with COVID and, you know, goals of social justice or social values in general? And how will all these impact in our industry, in architecture, in design and construction?
There's definitely a change. So many more people understand the language now. They know what passive house is. We're seeing costs come down for all kinds of technology that we would include in passive house buildings. And again, with the emphasis on equitable communities, this is a big part of that. If you're not building sustainable, then you're not building healthy. And if you're not building healthy, then you're not building equitably.
Yeah, so it's like finally all these dots are being connected, and our goal is to create better environments, you know, to increase the standards of living for everybody and to make it more accessible to absolutely everyone in New York and in everywhere, right? Good. Would you like to make a final statement about the practice, the firm, and the goals for the future? Maybe some of the targets that you have in regards to sustainability, passive house, or
Yeah, actually, Sarah, do you want to talk about this quickly before we?
okay, great. So Sarah, what are the goals and the perspective that your firm has for the future? What are your main statement for the future of the practice?
Yeah, we think that this way of building is going to become standard of our industry for all of the co-benefits of health and equity and sustainability for our planet. And we want to kind of normalize this way of construction. We think it makes sense and is definitely attainable. And we're actually very grateful that this technology is here. And in the end, it's really not that complicated.
Okay, great. Thank you.